and we'll chant an Om and then say the prayer. Re Chak Pura. Hands in Namaste position, and we'll start the prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub the palms together, press the energy of the face, open the eyes, and we'll start with breathing exercises, Pranakarshan Kriya. 5 repetitions, counts of 10 and 20 as always. Re Chak Pura. Re Chak Pura. Re Chak Pura. Re Chak Pura. Re Chak. One more time. Pura. Re Chak. Breathe normally. Now do the Brahma Mudra, the neck exercises, all 5 variations. Start with the first one, moving the head to the left and the right. Re Chak Pura. Head to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Re Chak Pura. To the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Re Chak Pura. To the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Re Chak Pura. To the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach up. Second variation, dropping your head to the left and the right, stretching the opposite arm out, and using the hand on the same side that you drop your head to pull it down further. Reach up. Pura. Head to the left shoulder, stretch the right arm out, left hand pulling the head down. Come back. Reach up. Pura. Head to the right shoulder, stretch the left arm out, right hand pulling the head down. Come back. Reach up. Pura. Left shoulder, stretch the right arm out, left hand pulling the head down. Come back. Reach up. Pura. Head to the right shoulder, left arm stretched out, right hand pulling the head down. Back. Reach up.
Mute. To have their audio on, please turn it off. So job is mute.
All right, next we're going to do the...
I did it, Sandhya. I did it.
Next, can we do...
Shivdas is not muted, I think.
Who's not muted?
Okay, he muted Kunal.
Okay, I think I got the person who was not muted. All right, so next we're going to do the shoulder exercise.
Host muted. You, the host.
Okay, we're going to do the shoulder exercises. Yeah.
One second. Gabriela, please don't unmute yourself. We are muting you. See, you're unmuting it again. Don't unmute yourself.
We're going to skip the other Brahma Mudras and do the shoulder exercises now. Both shoulders. Let's start up and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fingers of both hands on the respective shoulders. Elbows in the front. Start up and back. Touch your wrists at the back when your head, arms are at the back, behind the head. Start up and back. Three, 4.
The host
5.
muted you.
Change direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. Now we'll skip the Naman Mudras. We'll just do Kapalbhati, and that'll be all the breathing exercises for today. So you can stretch your legs out if you're sitting on the floor, and come and sit in a cross-legged position. And our usual counts will do 54 with each individual nostril, 108 with both nostrils. Hold for count of 10, and 20 with Amar Kruti. We'll start. Re Chak, half Purak. Close the left nostril and start. Hands down and hold. Purak. Recha. Now we'll do it with the left nostril. Recha. Half Purak. Close the right nostril and start. Hands down and hold. Purak. Recha. Purak. Recha. Now 108 counts with both nostrils. Hold for 20 with the locks applied and then Amakruti. Recha. Half Purak and start. Hold the locks, apply the locks and hold your breath. Vayusar Purak and hold. Gulp the air. Recha. Purak. Recha. Purak. Recha. Rub the palms together, spread the energy of the face, open the eyes. And that's all for the breathing exercises today.
Okay. So today we're going to address the issue of incontinence. And this was requested by one person who participates in this program. So we thought it would be a good idea for all of us to learn from it. The first thing I want to say is that remember that with any health issue, your first person that you should go to is your physician, your family physician. get the treatment that you need. Yoga cannot cure, I would think. I would say that, I would hesitate to say that it cures anything. It helps to manage many health conditions. And you can, for example, my sciatica issue. I had a very bad attack, but for the past 13 years, I've managed it by doing yoga. But did that yoga help to cure it initially? No, I needed to go to the doctor, I needed the physiotherapist and all that. So remember that doctor is the first person that you should consult because we are not medical practitioners. But having said that, we do have some solutions to manage incontinence. So today we're going to do asanas and some practices, breathing practices, to strengthen the pelvic floor. So a weak pelvic floor results in incontinence and in some women more serious issues like prolapse of the uterus or the bladder. And as far as I know, the last two, prolapse of the uterus and bladder, can only be corrected through surgery. Childbirth is a major cause of weak pelvic floor in women, but age and atrophy of the muscles in the pelvic floor, on the pelvic floor, are also another cause. These conditions can be very uncomfortable and can reduce quality of life for those affected. So we need to understand a little bit about the pelvic floor. Don't have to remember the name of every muscle or anything. But there are 3 muscles that support the pelvic floor, collectively called the levator ani, which form a muscular net or a diaphragm that controls urine, bowel movements, and in men, ejaculation. The 3 muscles, and again you don't need to remember the names at all, but I'm going to mention them. The 3 muscles are puborectalis, which controls the anal sphincter. Okay? The pubococcygeus, which is a larger muscle that connects the pubic bone to the coccyx, the tailbone. And the third one is the iliococcygeus. Those are the 3 muscles that form the diaphragm of the pelvic floor. Now we are all familiar with the breathing diaphragm that is located right here under the rib cage, which contracts and relaxes as we inhale and exhale. Every time we inhale, the diaphragm contracts. Every time we exhale, it relaxes and comes back to its original position. The breathing diaphragm and the diaphragm in the pelvic floor are neurologically connected and they move together. So when you breathe in, the breathing diaphragm contracts, and at the same time, the diaphragm of the pelvic floor also contracts. And when you breathe out, the respiratory diaphragm relaxes and the diaphragm in the pelvic floor also relaxes. Now the easiest exercise to strengthen the pelvic floor is something that we've all heard of. They're called Kegel exercises, spelled K-E-G-E-L, but it's pronounced as if it's K-A-Y-G-E-L, Kegel exercises. I think it's named after a doctor or a person. It's best to do the Kegel exercises when the pelvic floor is relaxed, okay? And the best way to learn and initially practice the Kegel exercises is in the bathroom when you're passing urine. So how you do it is to stop the flow of urine midstream by tightening the muscles of the pelvic floor. Most of you may have heard and even practiced Kegel exercises, but we're going to do them together because we can't do the exercise without being in the bathroom. So let's all try just now. So what are you going to do? You're going to tighten the muscles of your pelvic floor. Do it right now. And I'm going to count down to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and breathe normally. So that's how Kegel exercises are done. You can do them anytime in the bathroom when you're passing urine, but you can also do it during the day anytime you want. Nobody will know you're doing the exercise and you can perfectly do it. Now, a good way to do Kegel exercises, because we need the pelvic floor to be relaxed, it's best to do it after breathing out. So this time we're going to do a purak, a deep inhale and then a deep exhale, and when we exhale we are going to hold all the muscles tight for 5 counts, and I will count down for 5. Let's do that twice. Okay, so after you breathe in, you breathe out, you hold your muscles tight, you do the Kegel exercise, hold it for 5 counts, and then you release and you breathe normally. Then again we'll breathe in, breathe out completely, hold those muscles tight for 5 counts, and then breathe normally. Let's do that twice. Rechak, Purak, breathe in deeply. Rechak, breathe out completely. And now tighten your muscles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and breathe normally. Let's breathe in again deeply. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tighten your muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release and breathe normally. And just to make you more aware of those muscles, if you have a towel or if you have a block like this, a circular block, that's great. But if not, use a rolled up towel. I've rolled my towel up quite tightly and I'm going to sit on it in a cross-legged position. Sit any which way you like. If you prefer to sit the other way in Vajrasana, that's fine too. The important thing is that you feel the muscles of your pelvic floor. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to breathe out quickly, breathe in and deeply exhale, and then we're going to tighten all the muscles involved. Your vaginal muscles, your anal muscles and the perineum. The perineum is between the two. So try to tighten everything in that area. Okay, so Rechak, Purak, breathe in. Rechak, breathe out completely and tighten the muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release and breathe normally. We'll do this one more time. Purak. Rechak. Tighten the muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Breathe normally. Okay. So now that we've learned how to do the Kegel exercises, you can get off the towel if you want, unless you're more comfortable that way. But remember, we talk about the root lock. When we do Naman Mudra, the bending postures, we always say there are 4 things you need to do. The 4th thing is applying the root lock. When you apply the root lock, which is called Mool Bandh in Sanskrit, what we are doing is pulling up our anal sphincter muscle and holding it tight till you come up again. Okay, that's what you're doing. The Mool Bandh means, the root lock means, you tighten your anal sphincter muscle and then you come up. Now that Mool Bandh can be done anytime. You don't have to only do it when you are doing the Naman Mudra, the bending postures. You can even do it just now, right? Another mudra, which is called Ashwini Mudra. Ashwa in Sanskrit means horse. So Ashwini Mudra is called the horse posture. And we usually talk about Ashwini Mudra in connection with relieving constipation. So if you've noticed a horse, or for that matter even a dog, passing a stool, you'll see that they contract and relax their anal sphincter muscle. And that helps to make them pass the stool more easily. So if we can do it, if we are constipated, we can do it in the bathroom to help us eliminate more easily. But otherwise, we can just do it to strengthen the pelvic floor, because it achieves the same thing as the Kegel exercises. And you know, when we did all three together, the vaginal muscles, the perineum and the anal muscles, when we tightened all of them, we did the root lock as well. So all these things help to strengthen the pelvic muscles. Now, how many times should you do it? You know, it's advisable to not overdo it. So do it maybe 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, 3 times in the evening, and hopefully it will help those who suffer from incontinence. So the next thing we are going to do is some asanas. And I asked you to get a belt and a block today. So for some of these, we will need those, what are they called?
Devices.
Huh?
Devices.
Those devices. So the first one we're going to do is Baddha Konasana. So for Baddha Konasana, you're going to sit with the heels together, and Kunal is going to do it on the chair so that nobody on the chair feels that they can't do any of these. You're not going to feel the intensity of the exercise the same way on the chair, but you can do it. So put the soles of your feet together and then bring your body close to the feet, and your feet are very close to the body. So the heels are almost in your groin. Put your hands behind you, spread your fingers out, throw your shoulders back, and sit as upright as you can. And let's sit here for 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now I want you to hold your toes, your feet actually, put your hands under. I think you can see where I'm holding mine. And again, it's very important to sit upright, because what happens is the moment your hands go forward, you know, it's easier to sit upright with your hands behind you. But the moment you bring your hands forward, there's a tendency to collapse like that. I don't want you to collapse. Sit upright. And now we're going to try to bend forward only as much as you can go, but you want to bend forward from your hip joint. Don't bend your upper back. Your upper back should be straight. And if this is where you can go, that's perfectly fine. If you can go further, try a little more. What happens is each time you're breathing out, if you try a little more, you will succeed. Now, if you can't go all the way, put your fists under your forehead and stay there. If it's better for you, put your hands, and if it's possible for you, put your forehead on the floor. And slowly come up. Now, what is this asana doing? It's stretching your groin here, and right here are many lymph nodes. And the lymph nodes carry lymph that should be released throughout the body. And if it is released properly, then the immune system remains healthy. So we want to stretch the groin here to help the lymph nodes to release their lymph. Okay? So that is called Baddha Konasana, or in English it's called bound angle pose. Okay? Now the next one is called garland pose. So you need to get on your feet. So put your feet flat on the floor. you know how we used to sit on the old Indian toilets? That's what we are doing here. And because we are spoilt with the Western toilets, we've all lost our ability to sit like this. So now if you find that your heels are up here, I want you to put a blanket or a pillow or something, because you need to have your feet flat. So you don't want to be like on your toes like that. So if you can't stay on your feet perfectly, take a blanket or a rolled up mat or a pillow or something under your heels, but you want to sit like this. Your elbows are pushing your knees apart, and this is called Malasan or garland pose. And on the chair, you will notice that Kunal has moved his knees apart and then he's doing the namaste. Okay? So you can, if you stay in a position for some time, you get a better effect. So let's count down to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come out of that, and now we're going to do something which is called Urdhva Mukha Shvanasan. Urdhva Mukha Janu Shirsasan. Urdhva Mukha means upward facing, and Janu Shirsasan means Janu is knees. Shirsasan means head touching the knee. So I'm going to show you what might be a more it's an easy version for everybody to do, because if you have the belt or a tie or something to put around the sole of your foot, you hold it like this so that your knee remains flat on the floor, your heel remains flat on the floor, and then you raise your head up, because remember, Urdhva Mukha. So upward facing. And this is called Janu Shirsasan, but of course we are not trying to touch our forehead to the knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that, and of course we need to do it with the other leg stretched out in front. And you're going to put your belt around the sole of your foot, and your head looks up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release that. So this one is called upward facing head to knee, where we don't touch our head to the knee, but that's what it's called. Now the next one we're going to do is in fact Janu Shirsasan. So if you want to use your belt, you're most welcome to. I'm going to show it to you first without using the belt, and Kunal is going to do it on the chair with the belt. Okay? So to just get used to bending forward, what we do is we do a little twisting at the waist like this. So 1, 2, and 3. Just watch me first. Then we touch our toes. But each time we touch our toes, we try to bend forward from the hip joint. Not from here, but from the hip joint. So your back is straight, but you're touching your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you raise your arms up. You make sure that your torso is right over that leg. And then you bend forward from your hip joint. Interlock your fingers if you can. And then you can touch your forehead to the knee. Now the version using the belt would be where you first do the stretching, just so that you get used to bending forward. Bend forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then if you want to use the belt, put the belt around, and you're going to try to bend your elbows so that you pull your body forward. If this is all you can do, perfectly fine. If you can go lower, touch your forehead to the knee. And come up. And I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. You can keep 3 cushions I have here, and I also have a small stool. So my left leg is stretched out in front of me. I think you can see it, right? And instead of going all the way down, what you're going to do is, you can still do this, right? Just to loosen up your waistline, you can still do touching of the toes. But then when it comes to stretching down, you're going to do this. You're going to rest your arms there, your forehead on the pillow. You're getting the same benefit, but making it much easier. Using these props. If you've heard of Iyengar, his yoga always uses a lot of props. And this is his suggestion to do this. Now, obviously, for those of us who have developed flexibility, using props does not appeal quite as much. But you are welcome to use it. Make anything easier for yourself. And when you develop enough flexibility, you can do the full asana. So now let's do it on the right side. Stretch your right leg out. And first let's twist our waist. 1, 2, and 3. And now stretch forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now raise your arms up. Make sure your torso is right over that leg as you bend forward from your hip joint. Interlock your fingers and see if your forehead can touch your knee. It's important that your leg is flat on the floor. There's a tendency at first to raise your leg like that, but it's important to have it down. And to help you do that, you must flex your foot. You can't have it stretched like that because then it's difficult to control it. So flex your foot, keep your knee down, raise your arms, make sure you're over that leg, and then bend forward, touch your forehead to the knee. Now if you want to use a belt, you're going to wrap the belt around your heel, hold it here, and pull yourself by bending your elbows. See how low you can go. You may not go all the way, and that's fine. Go wherever you can. The important thing is to bend from your hip joint, not from your waist, so that your chest eventually comes on the thigh. That's what you want to achieve. Okay? Alright, so that is called Janu Shirsasana. And you can certainly do it with the props, with the belt, or without. Now the next one is called camel pose. Camel pose is called Ushtrasana. And in Ushtrasana, you stand on your knees. And the easier version I'm going to show you, you curl your toes. So your toes are curled under you. And then you support your lower back by putting your hands here. And you slowly start bending backwards. If you're sitting on the chair, watch Kunal. And then when you think you had a good backward bend, see if you can reach your heel. Hold on to your heels, and then once you reach your heels, try to push your hips forward. And when you come out of it, put your hands on your lower back again and slowly come out. So now I'm going to show you how it looks from the front. So you want your hips, your knees hip distance apart. But if it's difficult for you, move your knees further apart. And I can do this flattening my feet. But for the moment, if you haven't done this before, curl your toes so that your heels are a little higher. So you're going to again put your hands to support your lower back. And you're going to start bending backwards. And then you're going to reach your heels if you can. And you're going to stay there, push your hips forward. Slowly bring your hands to your lower back and come out of it. So you would have noticed that if you moved your knees apart, it's a little easier. But actually, The closer the knees are, the better exercise you get. But don't worry about it now. Move them apart, make it easier for yourself. And what if you cannot reach your heels at all? Even when you curl your toes, you can just go back like this. Stay right there. But always support your lower back. You don't want to just, some people go back like this with their arms up like that. I find that it can be dangerous because you might lose your balance and fall. So always use support. And by the way, for Ushtrasan, Iyengar also uses a prop. So I think he puts, I don't know how many, I haven't tried it myself, so I don't know. So I think what he does is goes back and lies on this. But I can't even do it. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Maybe it needs to be higher. Yeah, if it needs to be higher. If you like, you can try this at home, but try it safely. So that is what you would do. But as I said, I'm not a great fan of a lot of props. I feel it's more comfortable trying to do as much as you can without the props. Just catch your breath a little bit. Take some deep breaths. And then we are going to do bridge posture, which is called Setu Bandhasan. Okay? But we are going to do it slightly differently. This is where you need your block, or you can even have your rolled up towel, whichever you prefer. Okay? So what you're going to do is, and I'm going to show it on the side. So what you're going to do is place that block between your thighs, near the knees. Okay? And then, you know how we do bridge posture? We raise our hips off the floor, and then we put our arms under, tuck our shoulders in, and raise a little bit more. But here the focus is going to be on pressing your knees inwards, which is going to help to strengthen your pelvic floor. So we're not going to worry about taking our arms under or anything. We're going to keep our arms on the side and just raise our hips a little bit. This much is fine. And then you're going to try to push your knees in. So you're doing an isometric exercise here. Push with your knees, hold it there, and slowly come down. So the next time we do it, we're going to hold it for 5 counts. Slowly raise your hips. Push your knees together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down. And you can remove the block. We won't need the block again. Remember that you can use up a rolled up mat, rolled up towel. It's as good. In fact, it might be softer, so you won't feel any discomfort. And the very last exercise we're going to do for strengthening the pelvic floor is called Supta Padang Ushtrasan. Supta means lying on the floor. Pada means foot. Angushta means the big toe, and this is where we raise our leg. So lie down on the floor, but first watch me. You're going to raise your left leg up to 90 degrees, but before that maybe you want to put your belt around the sole of your foot, and then you're going to hold your leg up at 90 degrees. If you try to do this without, you might find it a little difficult to hold it at 90 for a long time. Make sure that your right leg is flat on the floor. And how do you prevent the knee from going up like that? Make your foot flexed, which means your toes are towards your body, not away from your body. You're not stretching your foot, you are flexing it. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release it. And if you didn't do it with me because you were watching, which is what I wanted you to do actually, let's do it together. So lie down, or on the chair you're going to watch Kunal. Use the belt, put it around your foot, raise your leg up to 90 degrees, keep your other foot, your right foot flexed, keep your knee on the floor for the right foot, and stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that, and let's do the same thing with the right foot. Put the belt around the sole of your foot, raise your leg up 90 degrees, keep your left leg flat on the floor and your foot flexed, toes towards the body. And make sure your leg is really at 90 degrees, straight up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that. And now we'll do that with both legs. So you're going to wrap the belt around the soles of both feet, and you're going to raise your legs up to 90 degrees. Hold with the belt so that you can stay there for, I'm holding it only for 5 counts here. But remember that when you're practicing, if you have more time available, you can always hold all the asanas for longer than 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring your legs down and remove the belt. So, turn to the side slowly and get up. So, whereas these are the main exercises that I thought would be good for strengthening the pelvic muscles, remember that many breathing exercises that we do every day, we do so many every day. Those, as well as the micro warm-up exercises that we do on Tuesdays, the stretches on the back that we do on Wednesdays, and the other asanas that we do on Thursdays, all of them actually also help various parts of the body. Now, if I look at Iyengar's book, which has a therapeutic section and he shows all kinds of asanas, I find that for almost everything, it's the same series of asanas, done slightly differently, or in fact, very often it's the same ones. And I think, how is it that all of them are the same? I think the basic message is that all yogic postures help in strengthening so many parts of the body. We can focus on some particularly for strengthening the pelvic floor, or this Saturday we are going to do with our yoga class. Somebody asked what exercises can we do for blood pressure, controlling blood pressure. So we are going to be working on that. 2 weeks ago somebody asked about wrist pain, and maybe one of these days, if any of you have wrist pain, we'll do those exercises for the wrist to strengthen the wrist. So there are many specific exercises for specific things, issues, but it doesn't mean that the ones that we do are not helping you in some way or other. So don't think that I can just do those and not worry about anything else. No, you do all the asanas. All of them have a role to play in our health, to keep us flexible, to strengthen. Remember that yogic postures help not only flexibility, but they also help to strengthen. Everybody thinks only weight training does it. Weights are very good to do, by the way, because as we grow older, we lose muscle mass. And when we lose muscle mass, we start losing our balance. That's why a lot of older people fall. Their bones also get weak. So it's good to do lifting, there doesn't have to be heavy weights. It can be many repetitions with lighter weights, but it's good to do those. But yoga has the ability to do everything: flexibility, strength, balance, and most important, improve blood circulation. And you know, for any part of our body to heal, the first thing we need is blood circulation in that area. Do you know why the physiotherapist will always first do the TENS machine? Because you're getting those little electric currents and it's helping to increase blood circulation. That is the first thing he does. Then he does his deep tissue massage, because once the blood circulation, blood has started healing that area, he can work on it and make that stiff muscle soft again, you know, to prevent, like in my case, especially when I had the sciatica, my muscles seized on me in my lower back and I could almost not move at all. So, you know, he needed to do the deep tissue massage, but first he did the TENS machine always to increase the blood circulation there. So all these exercises help with blood circulation as well as the other things. You know, when we lift weights, what's happening? Blood accumulates in the muscles. Whereas when we do yogic postures, what happens? Blood circulates better. Oxygen reaches all parts of the body. And you know what happens with muscle builders and all that? After a certain age, they can't carry on, you know. But yoga can be done till, there used to be a teacher, French teacher, who was 102 when she died. She was a ballerina as well. She learned yoga in Pondicherry and she taught yoga till she died almost at the age of 102. So you can continue practicing yoga for a long time. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is, teach you, is two hasta mudras, hand mudras. One is called Apan Mudra, okay? And I just have to refer to my book only because, you know, sometimes these fingers get mixed up. So for Apan Mudra, what you do is you take your index and middle finger and the tips of the thumb touch the tips of the index and middle finger. The other two are just held like that. So do it with both your hands. That is Apan Mudra. And Apan Mudra helps to control one of the benefits, okay? One of the benefits is that it helps incontinence. So you can apparently hold this for a long time. I don't know how many of us have the patience to hold it for that long. But perhaps when we are watching TV, we can try holding it like this for 5 minutes. They talk about 40, 50 minutes. I have a whole book on Hasta Mudras and it talks about holding these mudras for 50 minutes at a time. I don't have those 50 minutes. So, you know, whatever you can do, if you remember, do it. So this is Apan Mudra. Okay? And then there's another one that has a long name. It's called, it's called Jalodhara Nakshaka Mudra. But just remember it as the kidney mudra. The kidney mudra is where you fold your ring finger and your little finger. Your thumb goes over that and your index and middle finger remain upright. So do the same thing with this hand. Fold your little and ring finger, put your thumb on top of that, and your two fingers remain upright. Your index and middle finger. So that is called kidney mudra. So you can again hold it here to be comfortable, put it on your lap, and maybe when you're watching TV, you'll be able to hold it for longer than I can think of holding it. But it's connected to the water element, so it will help with incontinence. So I just wanted to ask if anybody has any questions. So we left about 5 minutes for that. If you have any questions about how any asana is done, welcome to ask that and I'll show it again. If you have any other questions.
Chitra, this is Nisha.
Yes.
Can I make a request? I don't want to get in front of any questions, but Would it be possible at some point for you and Kunal to do a session on inflammation,
Sure.
like autoimmune stuff?
Sure. We'll do some for sure. We will work on it and we will do it in future. But
Okay,
any
thank you.
questions today about any of the asanas that we did or the
No,
cake
just say thank
exercises?
you.
All understood, right?
Is
Yeah,
it
thank you.
common to have one leg in 90 degrees and the other leg is not able to go to 90 degrees? Is it common or it is some malfunctioning of legs?
Sorry, you said one at 90, the other one is not staying on the floor?
No, one goes 90 degrees perfectly, no problems. The other does not go 90. I have to literally pull it. And
Oh, really? Yeah, I think it's possible because I don't think both sides of your body are exactly the same. I think there are differences sometimes. So it could happen that on one you needed to pull more than the other. And by the way, you can also try doing it without the belt altogether, right? If you can
Right.
stay like this, and there's one where sorry, the opposite arm goes back, but it's just very difficult, so I didn't want to show very difficult asanas, but I wanted to show something that everybody could do. So with the use of the belt, if you need to pull it a little more to make it 90, that's perfectly fine.
But I can just add a little more to that, and that is that very often in doing certain things in yoga, you will find that on one side you're much better than the other. For example, I find that when we're doing balancing postures, I'm much better at balancing if my right foot is on the floor. When my left foot is on the floor and I have to raise my right leg, then my balance is not as good. Okay, so it definitely matters.
Yeah.
For even doing some arm exercises, for example, this, I can't touch my fingers at the back with my left hand on top, but I can with my right hand on top. So it just varies. Okay.
all right, thank you.
Okay, no other questions?
Okay, with me, I can sit on the floor, but it's hard to I can get up.
Or to get
Yeah, that's the problem. I can do like anything, but when I have to get up, then I'm like,
but I should send you an article that somebody sent us that appeared in the Time magazine about the benefits of sitting. I haven't finished reading it, but as soon as I do, maybe we'll ask Sandhya to send it. But one of the things of measuring fitness is whether you can just get up like this without using support. So
no, then
you want to try it? Those of you who can sit on the floor, do you want to try it? Just sit in a cross-legged position,
yeah, I can sit that.
just so that you don't feel tempted to touch your hands. Keep your hands here and just get up and see if you can do it. That's a fitness test, actually.
Then I have to look so far, I look to well, something like that. And that's the only problem. Otherwise, I can sit properly.
But Ruki, maybe what you want to try to do is sit against the wall. And in your case, if you need to take support, by all means take support. Okay? But I just wanted to show you that this is a fitness, they check fitness
Yeah.
ability,
Like that.
fitness level by doing that, by telling you to stand up
Yeah.
like this, then you're fit if you're able to do it.
Okay, I try.
That
Yeah.
article that Chitra was talking about where they show that is really focusing on saying that there are significant benefits by sitting on the floor as opposed to sitting on a chair. And that's what the focus of that is. And as Chitra said, we will try and send it to everybody so you can see what they talk about over there.
Yeah, so even for a little while, if you try sitting on the floor, it is going to benefit you. And Ruki, in your case, if you need support, by all means do that. Sit against a wall if it helps you. But for a little while, every day, sit on the floor. Okay?
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is there any trick to do? I used to do this before, but not anymore. Is there any trick to just get up?
Chandrika, tell me about it. I will do it.
Chandrika,
No more. No more. Only Chitra can do it.
No. Actually, Kunal tries, and it's not that he's not fit, but he can't do it. So maybe it's a thing of, but see, So when you're sitting, put your foot there already and sit down and see if it makes it easier. So your feet are already crossed over there and you're getting up like this. No? Well, it'll come with practice.
Keep trying it, it may come.
Makeup.
You
Okay.
make it look
I'll
so
try.
easy.
Not in front of the camera.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right. So we want the
So the thought
thought.
of the day.
Just give you the thought of the day today. And Bashir, thank you for sending it. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. You need a goal and a good, meaningful goal to put the effort in.
So I think all of us should make our goal to remain healthy, because without health, there is no wealth, there is no happiness, there is nothing. So let's all try to be as healthy as we can. So let's do Dhyan Mudra, and we'll chant 2 Oms and then say the Shanti part to close the practice. Rechak, Purak, Purak, Hands and namaste for the prayer, and we'll start. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityu ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Rub your palms together, spread the energy over your face, open your eyes.
Sandhya, stop recording.
Sorry.